Okay, on this one, we're going to discuss using line plots to help us figure out problems with fractions. Now, there is a lot going on in this problem, so we're going to take it step by step, very slowly. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to review what a line plot is and how it works. Now, as you can see, everything is marked down by eighths, okay? This comes from our problem that says students measured objects in their desks to the nearest 1/2, 1/4, 1/8 of an inch, then displayed the data collected on a line plot. How many objects measured 1/2, 1/4, and 1/8 of an inch? Now, we've got another question coming up, but we'll deal with it later. The first thing that we need to recognize is that on a line plot, what happens is each X represents a frequency in which one got measured at 1/8. There were 3 objects measured at 2/8 of an inch. 1 object was measured at 3/8 of an inch. 2 objects were measured at 4/8 of an inch, and so on. The X's represent the frequency in which this happened. So this is how many objects were measured at whatever number that we're at currently. Okay, so the first thing that we need to figure out, it asks us, it says how many objects were measured at 1/2. Okay, well, I don't have 1/2 listed down here. All I have is eighths. So I've got to figure out which one of these is equivalent to 1/2. So if I look and I notice, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw a square. And I'm going to cut it into half. Okay. Now, I've got to convert this. To eighths. All right. Well, when I do this, because currently it is 1/2, if you remember from the last two videos, I had to multiply to get the denominator I desired. So I'm going to multiply 2, and I've got to figure out how to get to 8. So I'm going to multiply 2 by 4, and that will give me 8 in my denominator. But remember, I've got to do the same thing to the numerator. So 1 times 4 is 4. Okay, so I should have 4/8. And to see that visually, I'll take my 1/2, I'm going to cut it into 4 more pieces, even pieces. And you can see that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 shaded parts that are shaded in out of my 8 possible shades. So now, going back up here. So I now know that 1/2 is equivalent to 4/8. So now I need to know what is the frequency that an object was measured at 1/2 an inch. If I can look, I can count my X's very simply. 1, 2. So 1/2 had 2 objects that were measured at 1/2 of an inch. All right, same thing for 1/4. Okay, I'll go back to drawing my square. All right. And I'm going to draw it, cut it into 4 equal vertical parts. And I'll remember we're looking for 1/4. So I'm only shading one of these. So 1/4. Now, remember we have to get to eighths. So now how do I get 4 in my denominator to 8? Well, I've got to multiply it by 2 because 4 times 2 equals 8. Remember, same thing with the numerator. 1 times 2 equals 2. Okay, so 2/8 is what I'm looking for. And again, visually, I'm going to cut this horizontally into 2 pieces horizontally. And that gives me 8 possible parts, but only have 2 that are shaded in. So I'm looking for 2/8 that equals 1/4. So now that I know that I'm looking for 2/8, I'm going to come back up to my line plot, and I'm going to see that it is 2/8 has 1, 2, 3 objects that were measured in that. Now, this last one should be the easiest of them all because we're looking for 1/8. I'm already in eighths, so I just need to locate my 1/8 and then count how many x's are above it. So there's my 1/8. I have one object that was measured at 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to go ahead and put my 1 there. Now on to the last problem. Now the last problem is the more difficult problem because you've got a lot to do here. It says, if you put all the objects together, end to end, what would be the total length of the objects? Okay, well, we've got to add all these objects up. So we're going to be adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 objects together, okay? So let's list them out first, and then we will start breaking them down, okay? So the first thing that I've got, I noticed that down here, this is 8/8. And I have one of those. 8/8 plus, let's start here and go 2 6/8. So 6/8 plus 6/8. Now, moving into my 4/8. 4/8 plus 4/8. Notice I did 2 because there's 2 4/8 objects. Now I only have 1 3/8 objects. But I have 3 2/8 objects. So I have to add that 3 times. 2/8 plus 2/8 plus 2/8. And finally, I've got a 1/8 down here that I need to add. Now, this can be a lot, so let's take it by chunks. We're going to chunk it to make easy, friendly numbers. And remember, when adding and subtracting fractions, you don't change the denominator. We're only looking at the numerator. So whatever our answer is, it's going to be over 8. And then we will convert it into a whole number at the end. Okay? So let's chunk this and make it very easy and very straightforward. Okay? So looking at this, I'm going to just chunk my simple ones first. 1/8 plus 2/8 equals 3/8. Okay? 3/8 plus 2/8 equals 5/8. 5/8 plus 2/8 equals 7/8. 7/8 plus 3/8 equals 10/8. Yes, I know we've gone over, but that's why we will change it to a mixed number in a little bit. We have more pieces, so we're over one whole now, okay? So now 10/8 plus 4/8 equals 14/8. 14/8 plus 4/8 is 18/8. 18/8 plus 6/8, a little bit trickier, so 6 would be 24/8. 24/8 plus 6/8 is 30/8. And then finally, 30/8 plus 8/8 equals 38/8. Now, if you're feeling real froggy and we want to take this and make it a mixed number, we need to figure out how many groups of 8 or how many wholes of 8 pieces can we make out of 38. We can do this one of two ways. We can either divide 38 by 8 or we can start subtracting 38 by 8s to make our groups, okay? Let's do it the subtraction way for now, okay? So I've got 38 pieces. I've got 38 pieces of 1/8 pieces. So I want to take away 8/8 to make one whole. So now that leaves me with 30/8. Okay. Next, we've got 30/8 minus 8/8. Well, that would be 22/8. 22 eighths minus 8 eighths equals 14 eighths. Okay, ran out of space. So I'm going to move over here under this one, and we're going to continue going. 14 eighths minus 8 eighths equals 6 eighths. And now I can't take any more groups of 8 out of it. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and look at my whole 8 groups of 8 that I took, my whole ones that I took out. Okay, well, I took out 1 whole, or 8 out of 8 here, 1 whole, or 8 out of 8 here, 1 here, and 1 here. That leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4 wholes, and I still have 6 eighths left over. So 4 wholes and 6 eighths.